What's going on, everybody? I'm Will Ortner. This is Seahawks Today, and I don't know if you know this, but only allowing 9 total points while causing 8 turnovers. It's a pretty darn good stat line there for your Seattle Seahawks defense, our Seattle Seahawks defense. That's coming from Diana Rossini of The Athletic. This defense is clicking on all cylinders right now, and there is a reason why people are projecting the Seahawks as a potential Super Bowl championship team, especially because they don't need their quarterback to be superhuman. That's how good this defense is. Hawk Blogger had this to say as well. Seahawks, hey, congratulations, by the way. Happy Victory Monday. We are 10-3, 37-9 victory. Plus 162 in the point differential. What does that mean, Will Ortner? That means we've scored 162 more points than our opponents have scored against us. Second best ever in franchise history. We're spoiled. We just are. We're spoiled right now in Seattle because we're slowly becoming one of those teams that are known for good defenses consistently year in and year out. Not just because we have head coach Mike Macdonald with our team, but because Pete did the same thing when he was here as well. The Steelers over in Pittsburgh are known for always having a good defense. The Baltimore Ravens are known for always having a good defense. The Seattle Seahawks are now being known as having a good defense. Thank you guys for tuning into the video today. We really appreciate it. Help us out, though. Go on social media, whatever you have, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Share the video. Help let the national media learn just how good we are here in Seattle, and also make sure that your friends who bleed blue and green, who love the Seattle Seahawks, learn about our channel here on Seahawks Today. We have daily Seattle Seahawks content coming out. Most days, you're going to get 2 to 3 videos, so you don't want to miss any of the stuff we got going on. Now, enough glazing on what I've been doing. I want to dive into the top performers from yesterday's game, and I think the first player that we really have to dive into is Devon freaking Witherspoon. To see him go through a year where he fought through so much when it came to his injury issues, to coming back onto the field, having to go back onto the injury report, then coming back to the Seahawks, it just feels good to see Spoon have a good game. He was flying all over the place, 7 tackles in this one in total. He recovered a fumble. He got an interception. He caused another interception for Nick Emmanwori, and he was getting pass breakups all over the place. It was Spoon's first big game since his knee injury earlier this year. Now, obviously, he's been back for quite a while, but it didn't feel like he had that big explosive game, that big pop. Now, he had big hits against the Rams. He had big hits against some of the other teams, the Vikings, that the Seahawks have played. But he didn't have that one. Oh, my goodness. He dominated this game on all phases. When you have a player like Devon Witherspoon that can do so many different things, cover in the inside, cover on the outside, blitz, you can add him into the run game. He can be a run stopper, pass stopper, whatever. It's always exciting when he gets out on the field and goes out and absolutely stuffs the stat sheet. So it was good to see Devon Witherspoon get out there and have another big game. Next, I got to talk about Nick Emmanwori. Look, I know that's not how you really say his name, but Nick Emmanwori has definitely earned the moniker of D-Mon. He is an absolute beast, the most complete game that I think we have ever seen from Emmanwori. He had multiple tackles, didn't miss any. He was a part of a couple of assist tackles as well. He had a couple of pass breakups in this one. Got his first career interception. Blocked a field goal. Was able to get in and make a bunch of stops. He was all over Kyle Pitts to the point where Kyle Pitts had to make incredible catches when he did make catches. Nick Emmanwori is an absolute freak. He showed up in the biggest possible way. He was all over the field. He had a sack as well. I forgot to mention that. Every single stat that a defensive player could have, he had TFLs. Nick Emmanwori is a special player. He's a guy that we were told since Seattle drafted him that he could play a multitude of positions. He could make a multitude of plays. There is talk of him playing as a defensive end. By the way, technically, he's a safety, yet sometimes PFF lists him as a cornerback. That's how versatile he is. He can play any position on the field. And this game, Not only did he play every position on the field, essentially, but he came up with huge stops and huge plays and highlight plays. He's special. He's so freaking special. And he showed up in a big way, and I wanted to make sure that we highlighted that on today's show. Now, I have been seeing this on Twitter that Emmanwori has an opportunity to win the NFL Rookie Defensive Player of the Year. Now, obviously, he missed a lot of time, so there is still a long way for him to go there. But I think he's got a chance to win the NFL Rookie of the Year for the defensive side of the football. I would be down in the comments typing Y for yes. Let me know what you think. Y for yes, N for no down below. Next top performer, Rashid Shaheed. And I think I speak for a lot of Seahawks fans when I say this. It felt like this game was going to happen eventually for him. I mean, shoot, look at my keys to victory going into this game. What's that third line there say? It says, feed Shaheed. We had seen him basically catch one ball a game since he's come to Seattle from that trade in New Orleans. And you just knew that eventually he was going to have a big one, and have a big one indeed. Rashid Shaheed did. Now, he ended up having only about 70 yards in this game. Wasn't able to get a receiving touchdown, yet he still did score for the Seahawks. What I liked best about Shaheed, though, when it comes to him being a wide receiver in this game, was how the Seahawks used him. Basically, since he's come in, we've seen him run that vertical route. He runs that 9 vert. He's going deep every single time. Finally, it felt like the Seahawks used him more in crossing routes. They used him more in slants. They used him as the middle in the flood concept so that JSN could go deep. What does that do? That opens up more things for him. It allows him to get more one-on-one matchups. It stops the defense from just looking at him and going, well, I better get on my high horse because he's really fast, so I better run really fast too. Because if he's able to cut and make little moves in and out, how are you ever going to keep up with him? And I've gone on long enough without mentioning the fact that he got this offense back started. Yes, I understand it was a special teams kick return for a touchdown. He still got it done. Rashid Shaheed jump-started that second half where you put up 31 points. You needed him, and he delivered in a big way. And I think you're going to see more and more of these games becoming the norm for Rashid Shaheed. Got a couple other players that I want to dive into on their performances today, but before I do, I need to let you know about this insane deal over at chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. Emerald City football, the thing is sweet. Got a little green, got a little white. Hey, the holiday season is here. A lot of gifts being given out. Give the gift of Emerald City football t-shirts. Chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt was $35. Now it's $15. Chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. One more time for the people in the back. Chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. All right, another top performer for the Seahawks was Jaxon Smith-Njigba. And look, I know I've been saying his name a lot on those top performers on Victory Monday shows, but it just felt good to see JSN have a average typical game for him this year. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? I'm saying a 2-touchdown performance, 90-plus yard game, 7 receptions, huge monster game for 90% of the wide receivers in the NFL for JSN. That's fine. It's average. It's average for him. He is so unbelievably good this season. He's been the best wide receiver in football. And Brian Flores and that Vikings defense did a great job of stopping him. They did a fantastic job of not allowing him to really make the big plays. Atlanta did at the beginning. They don't do that anymore, and I think that's a huge deal for us. It was good to see him back out there playing incredibly well. I don't necessarily think that he played bad against the Vikings. I think there's a multitude of reasons why he only had 20-some-odd yards in that game. The offensive line didn't block well for Sam. Sam wasn't able to get the ball away the way that he needed to, and Brian Flores double-covered him. There was nowhere for Sam to throw the football. So I don't really blame the bad game on JSN against the Vikings, but I will say this. It was good that I don't have to blame a bad game on anybody else. I just got to sit back, watch, and enjoy what he did. I do want to ask you, though. JSN will win the Offensive Player of the Year in the 2025 season. Do you think that statement is true, or do you think that statement is false? I think right now, if I had to go in and point, I'd say it is true. And the only reason not to give him Offensive Player of the Year is because you're not watching enough Seattle Seahawks football. I think that JSN is going to get the OPOY award. So I type true down in the comments. So if you believe me, and agree with me, type T for true. If you disagree, type F for false. The last top performer that I want to talk about is my good friend Sam Darnold. And QB1, look, stat line ended up being pretty darn good. Only 10 incompletions on the day. Ended up having multiple touchdowns in this game, over, or essentially right at 250 yards. Only one interception. Wasn't horrible. Ran the ball fairly decent. QB rating pretty darn good. You can look at the second half stats. All of a sudden, it's like he started figuring it out. PFF letting us know. 182 yards, no interceptions, 3 touchdowns. He was doing well. But that doesn't tell the full story. While he did have a good end of the game, I still have a problem with the first half. He had like 60 yards or whatever the number was. He had an interception. Didn't look all that clean. Some of it wasn't his fault. Atlanta had a good defensive game plan. They got to him a couple times. We cannot start slow. And the way this offense is going to go is based on how he plays. Now, the running game picked it up in the second half. The passing game picked it up in the second half. We're also playing the Atlanta Falcons. We're not playing the Rams. We're not playing the 49ers. We're not playing the Philadelphia Eagles, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers. Even the Detroit Lions. We are playing a bottom-tier NFC NFL team. So, yeah, you can afford to start slow. You can't always afford to start slow against some of the bigger teams. I'm not going to completely jump on him. It's not completely his fault. It was everyone's fault on the offense. All the way, coaches down. But this team cannot start slow, especially if they have one of the earlier games against some of these better teams. Hopefully, Seattle's not going to have to deal with that. It doesn't feel like they will have to deal with that. But if they do, they better start one hell of a lot faster than they did in this game. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you help us out. Share the show on social media. Wherever you watch, you can just give that share on Instagram, on Facebook, or over on X. Hey, if you tag me, I'll probably retweet it or repost it. And subscribe to Seahawks Today. I've already told you, we got Seahawks videos coming out every single day. Best content on the internet. I am a little bit biased because I do make the content, but I think it's pretty darn good. We got videos coming out every single day, multiple a day. You do not want to miss. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time.